Hi, everyone. Welcome to Cardano Live and happy Friday. Glad to have you all here. I have the founder of Ardana on today, Ryan Matovu. He's here with us to tell us more about Ardana. But before we get into that, I want to point out the links in the description down below. There's some very important links down there. We have links to Ardana's social media, but check out the link to ardana.org, and there is a selector tab for documents. Click on those documents. Check that out. There's a very, very good write-up, almost like a living white paper that tells you all about Ardana. And I love this document. I have it up over here on my other screen. And it tells you how Ardana works. It tells you how the DeFi works. And what I'm going to do is when Ardana starts launching products, I am personally going to refer back to this page and read through it again and again, because it's probably one of the best DeFi write-ups I have ever written. You can just go to that documents tab on ardana.org and go down the left-hand column, selecting each of the subject areas, and it will walk you through. So if you've never used DeFi before, check that out. It's great stuff. You're going to love it. Trust me. I read it. I love it. I'm going to read it again and again until it kind of sticks. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep referring back to it. Now, our guest here, Ryan, thank you so much for coming on Cardano Live. I appreciate it. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. And you're dialing in from warm, sunny UK. Always warm, always sunny over there.
It's the complete opposite,
It's
unfortunately.
raining. It's
Yeah,
raining sideways, isn't it?
yeah.
Raining sideways. I remember that from England. That was always fun, especially in the late fall, early winter. All right, so let's get on to Ardana. You're the founder of Ardana. Tell us about what is Ardana. How does this ecosystem work?
Yeah, so I guess in a nutshell, Ardana is a decentralized stablecoin ecosystem for the Cardano blockchain. Um, and I think a good way to explain it is to really start from the beginning, the core principles and the thesis of our view of blockchain and DeFi. So if we look at every DeFi landscape or ecosystem, there's certain key primitives and protocols that are and have emerged to be necessary for it to flourish, whether it's the AMMs, the different DEXs for tokens to be trading, whether it's the lending and borrowing markets for users to interact with that, and even on the infrastructure side of things with decentralized oracles. Within that mix of key areas, sectors, and industries is stablecoins. And that's both stablecoins themselves and the infrastructure needed to transact and swap between stablecoins. And looking at Cardano and the attention and the community that's grown here, it's one of the largest blockchains currently. And that's a lot of capital and a lot of users at every level looking for a way to interact with DeFi in a stable manner through utilizing stablecoins, but also giving more use case to their ADA and actually being able to leverage their ADA. And that's where we come in Ardana, and what we've built is an ecosystem where users can take their ADA and leverage that through stablecoin loans, and then also efficiently swap between different stablecoins in the ecosystem. So both providing a stablecoin, as you could say, but also providing the infrastructure to swap between other stablecoins and benefit them as well. So there's really two sides to what we're building at Ardana. Is the stablecoin itself, which is backed by on-chain assets. So very different to the likes of USDT and USDC, where the assets are actually, US dollars, real dollars in a bank account. In Ardana, the assets are held within a smart contract, a decentralized smart contract that's secure and permissionless. So how that works to generate a stablecoin is a user, any of you, can take your ADA and you can deposit that into a stablecoin vault, and you can mint a stablecoin loan against that. So you can actually take leverage against your ADA. You can actually interact with DeFi on Cardano, which is soon to come to life this quarter, without selling your ADA. And to get access to your ADA, you pay back that loan plus a stability fee. So that's one side of the ecosystem, the stablecoin itself. And the other side of the ecosystem is the decentralized exchange. So this is a different kind of decentralized exchange than what most people are used to. It's different from the likes of Uniswap and SushiSwap, and then the similar protocols building on Cardano, like the Sunday swaps, MinSwap, Maladex, and there are a few others. We're building something more niche, more special purpose, and this is called a stable swap exchange. So this is providing highly capital efficient ways to swap between stable coins. So whether you're going from our stable coin, which is called dUSD, going to USDC, or going to potentially JED, another stable coin that will be coming to Cardano, you can do that in a highly efficient manner where you don't lose as much in terms of slippage. And our stable coin DEX, which is called Danaswap, is going to be the most capital efficient ways to swap between stable coins and stable assets. So those are the two pillars of our ecosystem, the stable coin itself, dUSD, and the stable swap exchange, Danaswap. There's a layer above that, but we're actually leveraging both of the functionalities of those protocols, where the stable coins, you'll actually be able to mint multi-currency stable coins. So we'll start off with dUSD, pegged to the value of the US dollar. We'll expand into different currencies. Effectively, any currency that's in demand, you'll be able to mint from the stablecoin vaults. So that leverages the stablecoin. And then in terms of the decentralized exchange, Danaswap, that would be where the swaps between those different currency stablecoins occur in a highly efficient manner. And what this creates is a decentralized and permissionless foreign exchange system, which is accessible at any time of the day for everyone in a secure way. And then the real long-term aim is to actually make that connection into the traditional space through the fiat on-ramps and off-ramps into those different currencies. So Ardana would serve as the back end for a decentralized foreign exchange brokerage where users can go from one currency to another within a second effectively for highly competitive rates. So yeah, that's what we're building at Ardana, is really an ecosystem focused on providing stable coins and stablecoin infrastructure, and then leveraging that to tackle foreign exchange, that huge market which trades something like $6 to $7 trillion of assets per day in volume. So we're tackling stablecoins exchange, and decentralized foreign exchange.
Nice. Thank you for that overview. That is fantastic. That really helps clarify, what Ardana is providing, and there's a lot to it, but it also reads very easily on the website. And so, what I'm going to kind of ask you here is, I have 4 different types of coins available here, coins and tokens. So I have ADA. Let's say I have a bucket of ADA. I got a wallet with ADA in it, and the tokens available are dUSD, Dana, and XDana. I just call it Dana for short for the token name, or Dana, however you want to pronounce it, right? And so I can use my ADA. Can you start me off by walking me through it? I can use my ADA to both purchase Dana up front and then also lock that ADA. Let's say I split my bag. I have 1,000 ADA and I use 500 to buy some Dana, and I got 500 set aside in that wallet. And then I can stake the Dana to get X Dana. Is that right?
Yep. Yep.
And when I do that, I lock it with the ADA into a smart contract.
Yeah.
And then the X Dana I get is a governance token.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. See that your website works. I read it and I understood it in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I might still get wrecked, but at least I understood why. So no, this is fantastic, man. I love how you guys wrote that up there. So then those different tokens give me different rewards. There's return if I lock up. If I'm a liquidity provider, I will get some amount of returns interest on. Here's the part I missed. Do I get the returns interest on the ADA or the Dana? I think it's on the Dana side.
Yeah.
You get
Okay.
rewards on that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And also in the general overview of things, I read that it'll start off, there will be governance provided by Ardana, and eventually it will transition over to a DAO via those ex-Dana governance tokens. And there will be either people or contractors elected or representative to help build out the ecosystem in the out years, right? Because the roadmap is over there on that link too. And the roadmap has people or has your team building out the base system, and then there's governance in the coming years as you get the system built out. Did I capture all that correctly when I read it?
Yeah. Yeah. Really well. Really well. Yeah.
That's because you guys made a great website. I got to hand it to you. I love it, man. I really, really do.
Yeah.
I really
Credit
do.
to our writers. Credit to our writers. I think it's definitely an important part of being able to distill kind of the complex subjects into something that's, you know, palatable and easily, you know, understandable. It's always a risk with us developers. We can talk back and forth with each other, and then we put it out to there, and people are like, "What is going on? How do I actually use this?" So a big part of the doc was to get all the information down there, but actually get that down in a way where a user can go on there and they can see, okay, I'm a Cardano fan, or maybe I'm thinking about entering the Cardano ecosystem. I'm going to have ADA. They know Cardano, they know ADA. I'm going to have ADA. So what can I do with that ADA? And then how else can I interact with that ADA to leverage it even further? And what other assets can help that? So it really centers around starting with ADA, and then everything else, kind of the moving pieces around that, where you start with ADA, and then you can mint a stablecoin loan. So now you don't have to sell your ADA, you can take leverage on that. And then you can take some of your ADA and buy Dana, and then you can use that Dana and stake it and earn X Dana to, you know, play a role in governance on the ecosystem and, you know, within the DAO, but then also to earn a portion of the fees, the platform fees coming through the ecosystem, and also earn even more Dana as well. So it compounds as well. And that earns you more rewards that you can, you know, put back into ADA. And then, you know, perhaps borrow even more of our stablecoin dUSD. So that's a big part of how we put the docs together, is being very important, you know, kind of informative and also technical as well. And we will be releasing more kind of technical documentation around that. But it's about getting that pathway of what you can do, whether it's starting with, you know, ADA and how Dana plays a role, how dUSD plays a role, and then also by extension how providing liquidity on Danaswap plays a role as well. And that's something interesting about decentralized exchanges and automated market makers, is that there aren't just traders. That's not the only actor or the only customer or person who interacts with that system. You actually have liquidity providers. So all we're doing is building a platform for people to interact. And it's really the liquidity providers providing a service to the traders, and the traders providing a service to the liquidity providers. So you can take your stable coins and provide liquidity on Danaswap. Others would come with their stable coins and they trade on Danaswap, and the liquidity providers would earn a portion of the transaction fees. So you can actually participate in kind of supporting the network, supporting that protocol. And then there's another way in which Dana, the governance token, interacts as well, where you can stake your Dana, earn X Dana, and actually earn a boost on the transaction fees that you're earning as a liquidity provider through earning more Dana. So there's all these different moving parts in how people can interact with the system. And it all starts from ADA, but it's actually tied together with the governance token Dana, which allows you to stake to earn X Dana, participate in governance on one side, but also earn a share of the platform fees, which go back to the community. And that's all done through staking, which is, you know, very simple to do.
Yeah, wow. It seems like you've thought of everything, because this is a whole ecosystem being built on top of Cardano. And so what are you thinking, like in the coming months and coming years? Is there going to be an app I can put on my phone, or should I use like a Yoroi or a plug-in wallet to access the Dana ecosystem? What's the plans in the out months for users being able to connect to the ecosystem?
Yeah. So it's definitely a step-by-step process, and it really starts with Yoroi or Daedalus or Nami or the various other Cardano wallets that are there, in the space. This is where you're able to generate an address and store your ADA in a decentralized way, away from a centralized exchange. So that's the initial way in which users will interact with our ecosystem is through their wallet, where they hold their ADA. They can also hold their Dana, which they've bought. And when you want to kind of trade on the platform or interact with the stablecoin vaults and mint dUSD, you would connect your wallet through the extension on the browser, and the application would connect to your wallet. And then you'd be able to effectively spend what's in your wallet and interact with the system. So how that would work at the basic kind of level is you'd go to the site, the DApp website. There'd be a button to connect your wallet, and then it would actually be able to detect that you do have a wallet, within your extensions on your browser, and from there you can interact with the ecosystem. So that's the initial way that users can interact, which is something that anyone who's been in the space would be used to. It's very similar, starting with MetaMask on Ethereum and then progressing to similar wallets on other chains as well. It's a very similar experience on Cardano and by extension on Ardana itself. But in the long term, we actually look to extend that even further and actually build out an entire mobile application where all of that can be self-contained. So it will be more streamlined, actually more secure in a sense, and it will have the functionality where you can interact directly within the mobile application, or you can interact externally. Let's say you have Yoroi installed on your mobile application, on your mobile device. The application will be able to detect that. So you'll have a mobile application which can have the same functionality as the browser application as well. So yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you, Ryan. And so for reference, folks, if you've ever used things like Uniswap, it's going to work similar to MetaMask, to very, very similar, almost exactly the same. So that's fantastic. It's a pretty easy user experience from what I've seen. So that's good news, Ryan. Thank you for that. I do have a question from SKS, right in line with what we're talking about here. Thank you, SKSK. Asks, is my ADA ever out of my cold wallet or wallet? Is my ADA ever out of my wallet if I use it as collateral? There's some rumor being tossed around that my ADA will always stay in my wallet. What's your take on that, Ryan?
Yeah, this is actually a really good question. That SKSK, two SKs, because I think we can answer it in two parts. So starting with the collateral, when you have your ADA in your wallet and you interact with the stablecoin vaults, so it does leave your wallet. So your ADA would be sent from your wallet into the stablecoin vaults, and that's where it would be locked. And then stablecoins could be minted against that, and then you'd receive those stablecoins dUSD into your wallet. So it would almost work like a trade. For example, ADA leaves your wallet into the stablecoin vaults, and then dUSD is minted from the stablecoin vaults and then deposited into your wallet, where you can use it like any other Cardano native asset and provide liquidity or swap and buy other tokens, more Dana, ADA, and so on from there. So that's how that works. Now, the second part of your question around the ADA staying in your wallet, I guess the rumors could potentially be tied to what we've done with staking rewards. So Cardano has a very interesting mechanism in terms of how it supports the network. Being a proof of stake blockchain, you have your stake pools and you can interact with that. and you can actually participate in helping secure the network through staking and delegating. And in return for that, you'd earn staking rewards, which accumulate, and then they can be kind of withdrawn at every epoch. So that's an important part of the ecosystem, and we wanted to make sure that we built our platform in a way where it didn't take away that opportunity for users. So the smart contracts are put together in a way where when you take your ADA and you deposit them into the vaults, they are outside of your wallet. However, you still remain staked to the original stake pool that you were staked with before. So you're actually still accumulating staking rewards. So that 5%, or 3 to 5%, depending on the stake pool that you're staking with, still accumulates in your wallet. And that's still yours natively. So you're able to interact with the entire Ardana ecosystem. You leverage your ADA. You don't have to sell your ADA, but you're also still receiving your ADA staking rewards. That's really important, because if we now think about this in relation to the stability fee that you get from minting stablecoin against your ADA, that stability fee, let's assume it's roughly 3 or so percent that you would pay back when you pay back your loan. Your staking rewards accumulating in your wallet would almost pay off the stability fee that you'd be getting. So practically, you could call it a free loan. To be maybe a bit more accurate, you could call it a subsidized loan. It's really a question of kind of semantics around that. But effectively, your staking rewards would be paying off the stability fee that you would use to mint a stablecoin loan. And that's all facilitated both by Ardana and the way that we've built our smart contracts, but also by Cardano and the functionality that it provides through how staking works, and the flexibility that we have there, where you can interact with our system and we don't have to interrupt your staking experience. We can leave that with you. You still accumulate your staking rewards. You still support the original stake pool that you're staked with, and that's very important for us, as evidenced by the Ardana Stake Pool Alliance, which is a group of mission-driven stake pools who are contributing to the ecosystem beyond staking, and they have their own causes. We have to make sure that we build the ecosystem in a way that when you interact with Ardana and you want to participate in DeFi and still generate profit and make money and invest in the ecosystem, you can do that whilst still remaining staked to your original stake pool.
Wow, I learned something new every time, Ryan. Thank you, SKSK, for that question. But every podcast, I learned something new, and you just kind of blew my mind that you're going to retain the ADA and the staking rewards and still be able to interact with the DeFi protocol. I did not know that. That's fantastic. So, for starters, how would I get the Dana token? When is that, when's it available for sale? Is it going to be a public sale? I know there's a roadmap over there, but is there a plan to have a public sale for those in the future here?
Yeah, so we've already had our public sales. We did 2 actually. We did one initially through TokenSoft, which was a token listing platform, and that did really well. The demand was amazing there. We then did one soon after with OccamFi, which is a Cardano launchpad, and that did really well as well. So now we've gotten past the public sale kind of section of eventually getting the token. We're now moving closer to actually launching the token, and we'll initially be launching on centralized exchanges, and there will be a few that we'll actually be launching at around the same time. And then later on down the line, once we see decentralized exchanges on Cardano mainnet come into play, we'll then launch again on there for another way that you can get the token as well. So in terms of timelines, so you guys can set your calendars, it's very, very soon. I know that's not a great answer, but it's within this month effectively is when the token will be going live. So it really is within the next 2 or so weeks when you'll actually be able to get your hands on Dana, and that's going to be really exciting for us, and we look forward to that.
Okay. And will people be able to buy it on a Cardano DEX, or would that be on an Ethereum-based DEX?
So the initial launch this month will be on a centralized exchange.
Okay.
But then eventually when it does launch on a DEX, that would be on Cardano mainnet. So one of the DEX is building directly on Cardano.
Okay, I got you now. So the Dana later this month will be the Cardano native asset. Yes.
Yeah.
From a centralized exchange, and you'll be letting us know which exchange or exchanges plural that is whenever that news is available. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll be looking forward to that. So a reminder to the viewers, there are links down below. There's a link to the Ardana Twitter. So make sure you get on that Ardana Twitter. There's also Discord, Telegram, other social media outlets. Me personally, I'm following the Twitter to keep abreast of updates over there so that when that news does come out, it's timely and I can get access to that news. So check out the Twitter link down below for Ardana. Thank you, Ryan. And there was there's a question here from Magnus Red, but I'm going to kind of expand on the question. Magnus Red, thank you for asking. So when Ryan pitched to 3 O's Capital, what did they say about Cardano? But I had a more general question in my notes here related to the same as Magnus Red. And that was, can you tell us about the partners where with teams such as the 3 Arrows Capital? I have your partners over here. You were able to get 10 million funding to bootstrap the system from your partners. How'd that go?
Yeah. That's a really big success for us, that we were able to raise the capital, but also to be able to raise it from inside the Cardano community and outside the Cardano community as well. So we had investment coming in from C Fund, who's IOHK's investment arm. We had a few stake pools and Cardano community members participate. But then we also had interest outside of Cardano from a few notable cryptocurrency focused venture capital firms like 3 Arrows Capital. And they were very interested in the ecosystem. And that's great to see that kind of beyond our community, people are looking in and they're seeing that there's excitement here. They're anticipating smart contract launch, and which has happened. And now they're anticipating all the protocols to really come to life and DeFi to boom. So we're happy to be a part of that. And that's really where they're going to provide support, is initially through capital, but also through technical expertise and advice on how to really carry forward a project, a blockchain project, in the long run, in the long term. So that was a big role in kind of, who we brought on, is that they were interested in Cardano. They saw the potential success and they just wanted to be a part of it. And, we're happy to be their kind of initial entry point.
Yeah, I was really happy for you guys when I saw that news and those partners. He had 3 Arrows Capital, C Fund, A Sense of Assets, Kronos, Morningstar, Mechanism Capital. There was several different people involved, and I was like, wow, you guys are doing really good. And just so people know, Ryan's he's a little bit younger than I am, if you haven't noticed. Ryan, can you tell us how old you are?
Yeah, I am 22.
When I first heard that, you blew my mind, man. I was like, man, you're a genius.
I try.
You've done well, sir. You really have. You really have. All right. And I think Cardano users are going to be very happy to see these features come out. Some of the things we're kind of still waiting on is the Plutus application backend, which is available for the testnet. It needs to be made available to mainnet. I don't know if that's one of the holdups. And then there's also the DApp connector that is being built into Yoroi. I don't know if that has been released. I forgot to follow up. It might already be out, but I think the back end will be out in the next couple of weeks, probably by the end of November, available for mainnet use. Is that some of the items that you guys are waiting on or still working with, is the DApp connector and the application back end features?
Yeah. So we're in a similar place with a few other protocols. one advancement quite recently has been within the dApp connector. So that's something that we've kind of solved working with our wallet provider and a few others as well. So the dApp connector is there, it's here and it's ready to go. And now we're anticipating the Plutus application backend. We've actually taken a few development steps to get ahead on that, so we can launch without it. However, we'd like kind of the development stream to be in line with what we expect the standard to be. So we're waiting to see how that plays out. But regardless of what happens, our launch is still on track, and we're looking forward to how that will all play out.
Yeah, that'll be nice. That way the developers on the application backend, they can focus on how that works, and you guys can focus on how the DEX and the user interface and the user experience works. And then it's general house software. You just pass the information through the backend, and you don't have to worry about it because somebody else is taking care of that. And so that's why people are very excited about the Plutus application backend getting released. Excited is I use that word with a grain of salt, kind of like some people are frustrated, like, come on, when's this thing coming out? I want to see all these smart contracts and dApps and DEXs launch on Cardano. And here we are. We're almost there. It takes time, and Cardano folks have learned to be very patient. Let me see. I did have a few other in my notes, things that we talked about prior to the podcast. Maybe a mobile app in the future. No, I think we got everything. Yeah, we did. All right. If there's, I don't see any other viewer questions in there. Magnus Red is actually kind of digging. I don't know if you can answer this. Only answer it if you can. If you can't, don't say nothing. Magnus, thank you for the question. Yeah, specifically, what did 3AC say about Cardano, the first Cardano investment? Is there any more you could tell us, like what they say about Cardano specifically? Good, bad, and different?
Definitely very good. I think it really fell into two sides, kind of Cardano and then us and what we're building. So I think kind of starting with Cardano, similar to what I said before in terms of just the amount of capital and community as well. I generally do think we're the strongest community, and many in the space most do agree. That when you have a strong community combined with a lot of capital, in ADA that's sitting there and is staked, 70% of the supply is staked, which is an amazing figure, something we should be proud of. There's a lot of opportunity there for any application that's launching within that system and is looking to leverage that capital in a way that kind of makes it very easy for those users to put their capital to work. So it was starting off with Cardano as a chain and kind of the opportunity there, but then about us as well as a protocol. We're actually building something that's similar to other protocols in the space. If we look on the Ethereum ecosystem, if we look at stablecoins, there's MakerDAO, who have their DAI stablecoin, and then there's Curve Finance, who have their Stablecoin exchange. We're building very similar protocols with a few different nuances and tweaks that make sense for Cardano and different functionality, but we're effectively building MakerDAO and Curve Finance on Cardano. And these are solid protocols which really form the bedrock of DeFi. And that's what we want to be on Cardano. So I think that that's one key area which our investors saw, is that we're building on a strong foundation with Cardano, but we're also building foundational protocols, very successful protocols. We look at MakerDAO and it's Maker token is a few billion in market cap. We look at Curve Finance and their token is a few billion or so in market cap as well. We're actually combining both of those tokens, but both of those ecosystems and protocols, additionally adding foreign exchange on top of that, and unifying that under a single token, Dana, which has governance rights over everything, and also a share of the fees coming through the entire ecosystem. And we're building that on Cardano and effectively building that bedrock for DeFi to be able to build on top and interact with our protocols. We'll make it very, very easy for other projects to build around us, and we'll work directly with those projects. So I think that's the key thing that the investors saw, is strong foundation in Cardano, but then also strong foundation in the core pillars of what they're building.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Ryan. And thank you, Magnus Red. I appreciate the question. And I thought I caught on to something that you said earlier that was very interesting. So you have dUSD stablecoin that's going to be running on the Ardana ecosystem. And there's other stable coins like the Jet out there that are being built by Cody and kind of launched on Cody, but in, kind of in parallel with Cardano. And I'm thinking, wow, this is fantastic. It really is amazing. You're doing things that are improving the dollar, the use of the dollar, and people's ability to invest and earn revenues. Because right now, I got to be honest with you, I'm in the United States. I'm a U.S. citizen, and the Federal Reserve, they're not very good at the dollar. Okay, the only thing they know how to do is print more. Okay, which is devaluing people's savings, and that's why I think DeFi is so important, because not financial advice, obviously, like my disclaimer down below, but people in crypto are creating ways for people to save for the future and invest in ways that traditional savings just aren't working out. Like right now, savings and checking accounts are below 1% interest. All right. And then there's a lot of coins. One of them is like the crypto.com. They're giving a lot better interest than any banks out there. So you guys are doing great work here. And I really appreciate the work you're doing, Ryan. And I'm looking forward to exploring more on Ardana and all the benefits. I started reading about different benefits by holding the different coins, and I'm going to read more onto that. And I'll be one of those guys. I missed the original public sale. I'll be one of those guys buying it out there on the decks, and everybody likes that. So
yeah.
I'll be out there buying it and playing with it just so I can understand it better, and eventually say, okay, how do I really want to invest here? Do I want to be a liquidity provider? And when do I want to take out a loan? Because, instead of burning my ADA, I could take out a loan against it and use that to pay taxes or, pay whatever, use that money for whatever I want to use, and then pay it back over time according to the smart contract requirements, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. I think we covered everything we needed to here on the general overview of Ardana. We got links out to the viewers so that they can read more on how it's going to work. Ryan, is there anything else you wanted to tell viewers about today before we wrap it up for the day?
Yeah, I think we've covered everything really. It's just, look forward to this quarter. We do have our token launch coming up, which is going to be exciting. Seeing a lot of exchanges you guys may have heard of actually finally support Cardano native tokens. So that's going to be interesting to see. And then later on, we'll have the platform as well coming soon. And it's exciting for us there as well, kind of seeing what we're building coming to life. So yeah, just feel free to join the community. Every Monday, I'm always in there on our community calls. Just come in, ask any questions, reach out to myself or the team, and just learn more about Ardana and Cardano and DeFi in general. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. And you know what, Ryan? I don't have your Twitter link. I'm going to get that link down below because you've done Twitter Spaces too, haven't you?
Yeah, we have. We've done Telegram calls. We've never done a Twitter Space before. So the first one's actually going to be on Saturday, tomorrow. So that's something to look forward to as well.
That's what it is. I saw that advertisement for Twitter Spaces, and people are really starting to catch on to that. They catch them live. It's very engaging. It's very entertaining. So I'll get that link added down below as well so people can catch your Twitter Space. But make sure you check out the Ardana Twitter as well so you know whenever that goes live tomorrow, right, for your Twitter Space. So that's good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for the day. We got everything covered. I did have one last question there from Oki. He said, where can the tokens be purchased? Check out Ardana Twitter. That's where you'll find out which exchange. Is there somewhere people can't purchase them right now today? But when that exchange launches, we will see on Ardana's Twitter which exchange, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's your answer, Okodi. Check out Ardana's Twitter to make sure you know when that exchange listing occurs, those coins are available, those tokens are available, and that's going to be very cool. All right, Ryan, thank you for being on Cardano Live today. I hope you have a great Friday afternoon. I want to say farewell to all the viewers. You all have a great weekend here. Cardano is going for #1 all day, every day. It takes a lot of work. It takes guys like Ryan to get us there. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.